media side. And he's everybody's favorite point guard. If you know, you do know. Mr. Horace, Wormely. Let's go.
What's good, Ty? Thanks for having me.
Right?
You got the last name right, man, which is crazy. Hard to do. Kudos.
Awesome, man. We love to start this show with the wall of hoop movies,
Yep.
which are not on the wall right now.
Yeah.
Well, they are.
They leaning.
Actually, they leaning.
Nah, we good. They on the wall.
So, favorite hoop movie of all time and why?
Oh man, my favorite hoop movie of all time, which people always like to not consider a hoop movie, but it's Finding Forrester. Yeah. And I identify so much with both of the protagonists of the film, which is Jamal, whose real name I don't know, which is crazy, but I remember Jamal in the movie, and then Sean Connery, rest in peace, on both sides. So one is Sean Connery is this recluse writer who loves to stick to the craft of everything, and he's trying to imprint his craft and love for the craft and his style, and they come from these two different worlds so he's trying to imprint that on Jamal. Jamal's this hooper, super intelligent from the hood, can survive the hood, and then it transfers over to this private school, uppity, and has to survive that with his intelligence. And I just identify with living in both those worlds so much, and just I love writing and I love basketball, so it was just perfect. I watched that I'm telling my age now, but it was a VHS tape. I think like really watching that movie, then got the DVD. Like it's traveled with me everywhere. So I love Finding Forrester.
Man, that was a dope movie. I've probably only seen it 2 or 3 times, honestly. Probably all these other movies I've seen more than that. But yeah, I think I probably appreciate it more now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than I did when I was younger.
For sure,
because it is a hoop movie.
Yeah.
But there is a lack of hoop in it as much as some of these other hoop movies.
Right.
Like you said, the storyline, and I know the relatability of it.
Yeah, man.
Takes you somewhere, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when did you fall in love with basketball?
Oh my goodness. I fell in love with basketball I was probably about 8 or 9 years old when I started playing basketball when I was 5, but I remember falling in love with it when I was 8 or 9 years old. The Boys and Girls Club where I'm from in Pasadena, the Fair Oaks branch is the center of my universe for a really long time. All of my friendships, all of my hardships, all of the lessons, everything came out of that place. It was just a hotbed of culture. I learned about black culture, I learned about basketball, I learned to play chess there, I learned to play ping pong, I learned to fight, I learned everything there. And because of that, basketball is a centerpiece around all of those things. It was something that connected me with the older generation, my friends. I fell in love with basketball because I fell in love with the people too that were in my neighborhood. So it was just a one and the same, and I couldn't stop, man. I've had the bug really ever since, probably till about 35. I think I maybe just got rid of the bug, but about 35 years of just being in love, man. I'm still in love. I'm still in love, man. It's a love-hate thing.
Just a different relationship.
Different relationship. Yeah, that's real.
And you got to communicate different, man. That's crazy, man. I was literally on the phone with my mom before I came here.
Yeah.
And my parents have been together for 37?
Man, that's a blessing.
37 years. They're going on 37 years, and we were discussing just how the relationship of them has changed through that time.
Yeah.
And even for me, just more recently, that the relationship with basketball has changed. I still love it. It's still a main part of my life, but the priority of certain parts of it aren't as important because it's a bigger picture of it.
No one tells you about that.
We should tell them.
You know what I'm saying? No one tells you how to navigate your love for basketball, how it changes, how you used to be able to do this thing 8-9 hours, and then you got to learn how to do it for maybe 2-3 hours or
a week. 2-3 hours a week, not even a day. You used to go 7-8 hours a day.
A day. So seriously, used to be 7-8 hours a day, in on in. So no one tells you how this thing is gonna change as you navigate. But I love it, man. I love it.
Awesome, man. I always see this from people from Pasadena, man. Yeah. You guys have so much pride in your city.
Yeah.
There's so many great athletes and just people who've come from Pasadena. What is it, man? There is something to it. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, it is a little bit different. We're all we got. We've for a long time, I think, been compared to or existed in this space of what LA is. And nothing against LA. I love all my LA folks. We've never really considered ourselves Los Angeles basketball. And so because of that, like, you put yourself in a position where you're not. So we've always kind of like just bound together in that, but also have to give our sports forefather a lot of credit, which is Mac and Jackie Robinson. And so that lineage comes from them. Like, they played every single sport, but not only that, they were involved in the community. And so I grew up in this very rich, and not, when I say rich, I don't necessarily mean money, but like culturally rich African-American community in the Northwest. So everything intertwined. So I had, Black electrician, Black teachers, Black doctor, Black everything, right? As well as other cultures. I don't want to say it in that way, but just then you have obviously Black coaches in the sports, intertwines with everything there. Like, and then it's just this joke, like, it's kind of Game of Thrones-ish, where it's just these families, pockets all over the place. So everybody knows everyone.
Yep.
And because of that, you have this accountability, not only from a city standpoint. The Pasadena thing is probably more of a euphemism, but really it's about just family. So instead of being able to run through and say all these different names, it's easy to just be like Dina. And we're just very tribal. So everybody probably feels like they're the most important thing in the world when you're in Dina, when you're from Dina, because we all make each other feel like that.
That's dope.
Yeah, man.
That's dope, man. That's what it's about, man.
Yeah, it's love. It's love.
I've had great experience with literally everyone.
Yeah, we're a unique bunch, man. It's in a good way and in some not so good ways. We're a unique bunch. I'll be the first to tell you, but I'm Pasadena through and through, man.
So man, you fell in love at 8 and 9, being in the community. What do you contribute your development to on the basketball court?
Again, it goes back to the people that were around me. I have such a diverse group of friends. I have such a diverse group of mentors. I'm able to utilize all the different parts of them that they introduced to me, even in playing basketball. Like I said, I learned, we would go play ping pong, and then we go play chess, and then I'd be out in the streets messing around fighting, or we go play football, we go be doing something else. So I would always get these really diverse lessons. And for me, basketball became the canvas that I got to paint on. Some of my other friends went and did other things, like some were in music, architecture, you name it. We all have very similar experiences. They just had different canvases they used. Mm-hmm. But for me, it was that. And I don't know, the pieces of basketball always made sense for me in connection to the pieces of Pasadena or the people that I was around. It just kind of always mirrored each other. And it was a way that I can express myself without always having to talk too. And so that allowed me to spend a lot of time in the gym working on different things. So very unconventional probably, but I would give a lot of props to just the people, my village, of helping me develop just all the different experiences I was able to have.
Yeah. No, that's dope. Yeah, that's dope. And when did basketball become something serious? When did you take it up to the next level?
You know what's crazy is it actually got less serious as I would move up a level. The seriousness of it, again, this is man, you about to just, people gonna hate Pasadena when I'm done with this, but I was more concerned with and looked up to the people in my neighborhood, more concerned with competing against my brother DeJuan Rice or my brother Reg Harmon. I was more wanting to compete against them. Got to shout out Speedy too. Y'all know him as Bone Collector. We would compete more amongst each other. It was a serious thing because I wanted to be considered the best point guard in the city, more so than that's not LA. It's literally Dina. As I started to move outside of that and kind of earn my stripes in the city, I was like, all right, well, the rest of this is just math. It ain't, you know what I mean? It's not as serious as it needs to be. So at that point, I really got a chance to just kind of lock in on the craft of it and kind of tune out all the other noise around it. But it didn't get so where the weight of it was, if I don't do this, I'm not gonna, survive, or I'm not gonna win. It was man, I really kind of accomplished the goal that I wanted very early. And after that, everything else was icing. So
just get the hoop.
Yeah, just get the hoop.
That's dope. And what age was that you felt like, hey,
oh
I did what I was supposed to do?
What year was that? And I remember we used to always run around saying Olympic. I think it was 20. No, it's 2007. It's 2006, 2007, where I was just like, yeah, I'm better than all y'all. They gonna hate me. I love them dudes, but yeah, I could look at all of them and be like, I think I got all of y'all. Like at this point now, I'm just, the next task was like, let me see what we can do in the Drew type of thing, because that was like still community, real vibes. Like going to overseas and playing is just get the job done. Like have fun with it, get the job done. But yeah, I would say 2007. It's about that time where I was like,
got this.
Yeah, I'm locked in.
That's dope. That's dope. And then for high school, so what was your high school experience? So it's no secret you're an undersized guard, but a true point guard. So just talk about your experience and how you overcame, being a smaller guard and making it to the next levels throughout your career.
Yeah, it was so like being a smaller guard was just one of the obstacles or one of the hurdles. The other one was that I came in as a 12-year-old freshman into high school. I was like 96, 97 pounds. So that was the other hurdle.
Why
was like
12 going into high school?
Man, my mother is when it comes to, gave me my love for reading, gave me my love for writing. So education, formal and informal, has always been something at the forefront of like my mother's goals for myself and my sister. And so she said that me and my sister both came out the womb like asking crazy questions, talking, and so she started us in school early. So I started school about two and a half.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Yeah, myself and my sister. So I didn't skip any grades. I wouldn't claim to be.
How did she get you into school as a
private school? I went to starter school. Me and my sister and I went to a Montessori school in LA, South Central LA. So. Yeah, so that was how she was able to kind of little private school at the time, work around that. But so yeah, I never skipped any grades. I don't claim to be this genius or smarter than anybody else. I just started school early. I also basketball wasn't. My father has always loved basketball, but it wasn't like imposed on me, something I had to do. So both my parents would always say like, if basketball is going to be a thing, like, they'll come find you, you'll survive. And it ended up happening as they said it, but it just wasn't something that would ever be a priority above education. So they never thought about, I shouldn't say thought about, but they never was like, you need to be held back. So we just kept progressing. I was fine with my peers as far as socially, never had any issues there. Academically held my own. So they were like, man, just keep going.
Man, you're the opposite of where everybody else is today.
Oh yeah. Complete opposite. It's crazy. It's crazy too. As I think about it, I've thought about it often. There were points and times where I was like, man, I wish my mother would have just like hold me back, just put me in my right grade. You know what I'm saying? What the journey would have been like. But here today, 39, I'll be 40 soon. I wouldn't change a single thing. I thank her every day for it. So. But yeah, man, came in a 12-year-old freshman. It was like 96 pounds. So that was the other hurdle. And again, I'll give credit to like just really finding new ways to be better, to try to better myself. Like I wasn't gonna fight against what I knew wouldn't work. So I'm not sitting here gonna be trying to dunk on somebody every day. Let me work on this floater. It's a giant killer. I will work on that relentlessly, religiously every day. Learn that speed kills. So let me find out how to use these things that I have. Like I later started to write about it, the story of David and Goliath. There's a piece to that story that began to stick out to me, which is they tried to put this heavy armor on David, right? Because that's the tradition. The Israelites at the time. So they try to put this heavy armor on him. He put it on. He like, man, I can't even move with this stuff on. You give me this big sword. Like, I don't need any of this. Let me take all this off. Give me what I used when y'all weren't even thinking about me. It was 3 stones, my slingshot. I'm back here killing lions, tigers, bears. So he took off all of the tradition and didn't even need all 3 stones. He just needed 1. And so like that has always stuck with me. I learned that around like 14, 15 years old. One of those revelations, and begin to write about it later. So I just started to like try to find out what worked for me. Yeah. Again, coaches, I'm sorry, but like 2-foot jump stop wasn't a thing for me as a small guard. I had to learn to kind of play on the move, if you will, learn to slide out of things where I learned if you practice something enough, it becomes fundamental. Yeah. But again, I had to like kind of take tradition off. And it hurt me in some cases. I didn't play varsity until I was a senior a lot of times for that. So optically, I don't pass the eye test, but at this point in time, for me to be successful on the court, like I don't even play the way that a coach has been taught to teach the game of basketball. So I don't do anything traditionally that makes you feel comfortable to always put me on the floor. But what I'm doing is working. It's effective, yep. Right? So I later learned to like be a bit more traditional and focused. But that was what high school was. It's kind of how I overcame that. And once I did, it was like, oh, this works. I'm good. We on.
No, I think that's dope. Yeah. Because there's a lot of undersized guards in this world now, and to hear the unorthodox way that you navigated it and used it. And the big piece that stands out, even though you were young, so I think there's some things here some people, you didn't have no control of that, right? No. But what you did control was what you could do, and you stuck to, you played JV as a junior. And you didn't transfer, quit schools.
Nah, man. And my coach, shout out Coach Grant too, I love him. Like, he told me I probably should. He sat me and my father and my mother down and was like, you need to transfer. I was very close to going to Campbell Hall, very, very close to going to Campbell Hall, but decided, like, again, I think it's a Pasadena thing. I'm like, I don't want to go play anywhere outside. I went to John Muir. I went to John Muir. Yeah.
Man, the coach told you to transfer.
Coach told me to transfer.
Didn't transfer. Played JV as a junior. And then what happens your senior year? So you make varsity. Yeah. So what was your impact on the court?
I think I make varsity by default. As a senior, I make varsity by default. I play well enough to make varsity, but just, all right, what I'm gonna do with this kid, right? So I play varsity, and I remember it like yesterday, preseason, me and my guy Jamal Hall were second unit, and oddly enough too, even though my JV time, he would bring us in to practice against varsity, and we still be killing them. It's weird. If you get Ryan Hollins on, ask him. Ryan Hollins could talk about the other side. We would like, he's a year behind me, so we played JV together for 2 seasons. We would be killing varsity. So anyway, we finally get to on varsity. Myself, Jamal, Ryan, we're all on that second squad, and I just remember one day, whoever the point guard was at the time, just locking him up. And like really being in his ear, loud, vocal, all of it. And that day, Coach Grant stopped practice and was just like, I'm not gonna fight it anymore. Not verbatim, but just to the sentiment of like, I'm not gonna fight this anymore. Like, listen, you starting literally preseason. You started me, and from there the rest is history. 27-3, not bad. Only lost to Eric Craven. The Craven twins, Bishop Montgomery.
Clovis West that year?
No, we didn't lose to Clovis West. We didn't play Clovis West, I don't think. We lost to, I think maybe another year, but we lost to Josh Childress team in Mayfair, and we lost to Redondo Union, Dejon Thompson team. Dang. All goons. We lost like goons.
But y'all won every
other game. That's
crazy. Yeah. Man, what a story. I love this, I love the resilience. Yeah. I love the stepping up and it built something in you, man. Yeah. I'm still trying to see, because I struggle with this even, right? I have very high level middle schoolers that go to these schools and go on JV. And I'm like, man, they could play varsity. Yeah. They're better than this player. But there's something I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is. Maybe that chip on the shoulder that you develop as a JV player, trying to get to that next level and facing that adversity. Because it's 2 ways that parents look at it now. It's like, put me on varsity so I can play against the more competitive people, even if I don't get minutes. Put me on JV so I can get minutes, or what that looks like. Or should I just go to a school for 2 years where I know I'm gonna play and play varsity so I can be in the fire? It's like, how do you balance that competitiveness, playing against people on the level that you want to be at, versus sitting back and developing and building something else inside of you more so than the physical part. Do you have an idea of what that is?
I do, man. I would say this, like, basketball can't be the reason you make a larger decision about a person's life, right? So remove the basketball, like we'll use basketball. Basketball's the vehicle, but like remove the basketball for a second. And if you have a larger plan for this child, then the adversity will that they face, or whatever situation that you put them in, has to be for that thing. Because we only get a very finite amount of time to play basketball. Like, I feel very blessed, lucky to be able to play as long as I did. That's not everybody's story, but you can use these situations for the rest of your life, your entire life. So remove the basketball and let's make a life decision. And if you are who you say you are, and you define, like you believe, or I shouldn't just say you are who you say you are, but as a parent, as a coach, if you see this gift in this kid, then it'll shine through, and they'll grow. Like, it's why we see a lot of the Dame Lillards and the step, like, they go through this adversity and then something in them cracks. But I don't know. I think we kind of mislead our youth a little bit, and we're only making basketball specific decisions, and we don't consider, like, well, how will this affect them when they stop dribbling the ball or the ball stop bouncing? So I would just say, like, remove the basketball just for a second. How does this decision or this situation affect them in life? Are they around the right social settings? Are the coaches really good people? Are the teachers, are they going to be around to help? What community do they exist in? You know what? Okay, you need to go over here, and if that means you play JV for a year or two, whatever. What you're going to get out of this will help you be successful in the end. But if you're just making a basketball decision, you're going to end up going to 5 different, 6 different, 7 different, 8 different schools. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know a couple of
those. You chasing something. You chasing something instead of growing something. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's going to be different.
Chasing something instead of growing.
You know what I'm saying? It's different.
You need to make T-shirts and the logo, Karina.
Yeah.
Let's steal that from him. We'll sell those. All right.
Yeah, for sure. No. You don't have to. Let's do it together. Let's do it together. Yeah. Brand collaboration all day long.
That's dope, man. Yeah. Thank you for that. That gives a lot of perspective for me just to see as a basketball advisor or whatever this position I'm in. Like, hey, let's take the basketball out. And I think I do it, but I don't say it. And I think we have to verbalize that.
Yeah,
so the parents understand that it's bigger than basketball. Because it's going to end one day.
It's going to end one day. It's going to end one day. It just is.
Kind of. I mean, we still doing it.
Right. It never ends, but you may not be able to stick between the 94-50 for the rest of your life. Yeah. But the hoop don't end, though.
That's dope. Yeah. Who taught you how to be a point guard?
I'm gonna give credit
that's
to.
That's a loaded question on purpose.
It's so loaded, and I already know it. I know because I know you, and you're an evil genius. I give credit to 4 people: my mom, my dad. Because I'll start with there. My mom, my dad, because point guarding happens actually even before you get on the court. It's such a selfless position. Like, it's rare you'll ever hear a point guard mentioned as one of the GOATs or one of the greatest, because it's not really our role a lot of times. Like, to be great as a point guard means you're probably putting the rest of your team forward. You may not have the most points and all that. So my mother's lessons to me about being able to balance when to assert yourself, but also when to, like, share, when to, like, how to communicate with people, to learn their habits, to learn their personality traits, to learn their characteristics. Like, that's KYP all day long. That's know your personnel. My father is very extroverted, and he would always say, got it from my grandpa, which is, it's a poor dog that won't wag its own tail. So you knowing when to call your own number, knowing when to shoot. Like, so that balance came from my parents, like I said, even before I got on the court. On the court, I'll say it's 2 people. My dad's included in that too, but specifically 2 people is Joe Ford, one of my mentors, and Coach Idris Jones, who played at UCSB. Heck of a shooter. Never played point guard, I don't think. Was a shooter, but again, just has a love for the game, a love for people that he gave me a nugget that just carried me for the I carry with me for the rest of my life, which is he told me one day, like, you're an anomaly. Like, you're an anomaly, right? Like, there's on one end there's Shaq. There's a 7'1", 300-pound bear that can break dance and all this movement. And then there's like you and Muggsy, and like, you guys don't make any sense to this space. He was like, lean into that. And so I learned to lean into that as a point guard, and we would work daily on that. But yeah, and Joe Ford too is just he used to run the Boys and Girls Club in Pasadena.
Is this Joe Ford, his son that went to Campbell Hall?
That went to Campbell Hall.
Ah, that's why he almost went to Campbell Hall.
So I almost went to Campbell Hall. That's how the Holidays and all them got there. Like, their dad is from Pasadena. So Sean is from Pasadena. He went to Blair High School.
Oh, okay.
So he went to Blair High School. I think he's a couple years beneath Robbo Murray, who's Tracy Murray, Cam Murray's dad. So we got a lot of Pasadena ties that just kind of went out. Them all my people, like all family. So that's how I almost ended up at Campbell Hall before Aunt Ford and them got there. I'm older.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'm older. So yeah.
That would have been with when nobody was there, really.
It would have been when nobody was there.
It would have been the beginning of the
Campbell Hall thing. But yeah, man. Okay. But yeah, Joe Ford, man, that's my mentor from literally 5 years old to today.
That's dope. So a point guard can be developed. Because some people say point guard is born, right? But so there's some nature versus nurture here, but I hear it's nurtured through your parents. So I don't want to say they're born, but there is development before they hit the court.
Yeah. They can be. I think what you're born with absolutely helps.
Okay.
But I think development is so that would be the nurture. I think nurture is the heaviest part. So it's a mix of both, but I would say nurture's 85% of the battle. 85% of the battle. But but there are some people that just naturally come out with this feel for how to speak to people, how to relate to people, how to lead, likable, charismatic. I think there are people that kind of just born with that. But I've also seen people who come out that way and then they get burned or something bad happen. They just like, I'm gonna go the complete opposite. So nature, environment plays a big role in it too.
Absolutely.
Plays the biggest role in it. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, so senior year, y'all having a phenomenal year.
Yeah.
You receive any accolades on your way out?
I think
you got Ryan on your team.
Yeah, that's still my guy, son.
Ryan, I need you to come on the show. When's he coming to LA? Is he in LA?
Nah, he's still in Houston. He's still in Houston, loving Houston. I'm trying to get him back out this way. He'll come back soon enough. But Houston's treating him so well, and I'm so proud of him, man. My goodness, our conversations are crazy, but I'm proud of him. But yeah, we're gonna try to get him back. We try to get him back out this way.
Yeah, I just need him to come visit so he can
That's
in
it.
his chair. That's all.
Oh, he can get in the chair. I'm telling you.
I know. No, he's already told me.
We're gonna make him get in the chair.
It was literally, I started the show right before he left because his daughter was at my school.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Lauren.
We were all talking about it like, hey, I need you on this. He said, bet you better hurry up. We're moving. Yeah. And we just never got a chance to do it.
All good. That's all good. If he told you he's going to do it, he's definitely going to do it. He's definitely going to do it.
Last week.
Man of his word.
Last week, so we all
for sure.
Get him out here.
For sure. No real accolade. I mean, I think it was like first team Pacific League, which is the league we played in.
But keep going.
Okay.
Humble beast here.
Other than that, though, nothing crazy. One of my biggest joys, though, my brother who we lost recently, Joseph Frazier, who went to Northridge. I just always remember us because we were underdogs, so we got to be on the Fred Rogan show, which not a big issue now because everybody's famous and IG and all that stuff. But we weren't. It took something to get on TV and. So for he and I cherish that. I still had that VHS tape. That would be my accolade. It's just me and him getting a chance to be on that show together.
You guys graduated the same year?
Same year. Yep, same year. So man, that was another one of my road dogs. Through this basketball journey, we were on it together. Me, him, and Ryan, trying to figure it out. We all went our separate directions, but. That would be my accolade, but nothing shiny, nothing trophy wise. I can
No, it's the moments, it's the memories.
It's the moment. It is.
Those accolades, like you said, that moments like that, man. Yeah. It's always good to reflect before that moment is gone, because these
sure.
kids are looking for the CIF title or the ranking
Yep.
or whatever it is,
Yep.
instead of
And nothing wrong
recognizing,
with
hey,
it, right?
this is the special moment, especially when, you know, like that moment specifically, especially with Joe, man, like, you know what I mean? Like, life is short, you know what I'm saying? And so we ain't gonna hop into that, but
man, man, life is short.
Life is short.
Life
and
is
so
short.
It's good to, hey, live right now and notice that you kicking it with your teammates at the hotel is the moment.
Everything.
You on the bench celebrating your teammate is the moment.
It's everything.
That's what you're gonna remember.
Everything.
Man. And so
everything. Yeah.
Stick to those. Stick to those moments.
Absolutely.
All right. So college.
Absolutely.
Man, point guard of one of the top teams in California for that year. Y'all had to be. Only losing 3 games to
felt like it, something like that. Felt like I don't remember, but
So
felt like somebody could fact check us, and then I'd be like, all right, we weren't.
Hey, we'll Google it.
Yeah,
we'll Google it.
So felt like it, but man, I'm still what 5'5" or something like that at the time. Like there's nobody beating down my door.
And you're 16.
I'm 16, 5'5", 16 years old. I'm probably 108 pounds, soaking wet, rocks in my pocket. Like, no one's beating down my door. Like, I'm not getting letters from really anywhere, which ironically wasn't discouraging. Like, I don't even really remember feeling any type of way. Like, it was what I do remember is Coach Rocky Moore, who used to coach at Muir, who had Jock Vaughn at Muir as a coach. He ended up being a coach at Pasadena City College, and he was supposed to be my high school coach. So my freshman year, coming into my freshman year, he gets fired at Muir. So he's the reason I was even going to Muir. I probably would have went to PHS, but forget them. But anyway, he was one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Muir. He ends up getting fired. So I've had this relationship with him for some time now, and so he's always been one of my biggest supporters. Always believed in me. He ends up again not even really having to recruit me, but just come on, like it's your time now. And he gives me my freshman year. He gives me he changes the trajectory of my basketball career and my basketball just confidence, because I had just come out of like having to like climb these walls and get through this adversity in high school. He put the ball in my hands and was like, go, it's your team.
Wow.
Go play, go do what you need to do. And it just changed everything for me my freshman year. And then my sophomore year is when I ended up, he gets fired then, but I end up getting another Pasadena like legend, George Turgeon, and so he's coaches alongside of Mike Jones at the time, who coached at Seattle Pacific with Cameron Dollar. This is how I ended up going to Vanguard, where Cameron Dollar used to coach. He ends up leaving. Anyway, weird career of mine. But my second year at PCC at Pasadena City College was Turgeon and Mike Jones coaching. And again, they just handed me the keys, like handed me the basketball and was like, we trust you, go. So that changed everything for me.
How
it was
do you
like,
get coaches to trust you?
In a way, I think it's becoming one. Like, it's the stuff away from the court that starts first. So I'm just in constant conversation. This is the chess aspect of basketball that I love. So I love sitting down and here's our roster, here's the philosophy, here's the offense, here's the defense. What would you do? Like, and we get to have those conversations, and I get to talk through scenarios and get to talk through how I would use somebody on my team, how I would use myself. That's one of the ways. And just staying in constant communication, being open, vulnerable, transparent to teaching, which is the other. So just being like having this insatiable hunger to learn, which any player should have, but you absolutely gonna have to have as a point guard. Sitting, watching film with coaches, those things happen before you even get on the court. And then getting on the court, it's being willing to be responsible and accountable for the ship not being right. You know what I mean? Which is something that again, I credit my father for like having to learn that it started with this statement of like, everything gonna be your fault if you play point guard. Just know everything gonna be your fault. If somebody not in the right spot, it's your fault. If you turn the ball over and somebody was supposed to come off this zoom a little different, it's your fault because you should have prepared them better. So me accepting that as a point guard, I would say probably my senior year of high school, going into PCC, like I already know this. I already know what this is. So something happened on the court, like one, I had this relationship with my coach to where I got it, don't trip, I know this on me. And I can also take this pressure off my teammates of don't trip, it's on me. So, but if it's gonna be on me and I'm gonna take this, like we gonna have to have a conversation, bro. Like I don't care, I'll fight you, whatever it is, like we gonna have to have this conversation. But people on both sides learn to trust you in that respect. Like when you just are willing to not only listen but be accountable for it. But listen, I think that's probably one of the things we don't talk about the most is we ask point guards to be very vocal, and they need to be. But the other thing is like you need to listen. You need to know where your two guard likes to catch the ball, or your three. You're like, yeah, you gotta listen. You gotta listen when people are trying to talk to you. So I would be here all day probably listen off things of like how you get a coach to trust you and team to trust you. But those are some of them.
I think that's super important just because everybody wants to be a point guard now, and it starts with that.
Yeah,
it's the mindset that you step into this position with. That's why you see guys who can play point that are bigger in size, different skill sets or whatever it is. It's the responsibility, accountability, and the leadership mental that you take as a point guard. That's what these kids aren't ready for. That's why these high school coaches are saying, your kid's not ready. Yeah. Because they ain't even stepping in the gym with their shoes tied up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like they're not even prepared for the practice ahead of them. They haven't even watched film or done the things that it takes to be a point guard or a coach on the court. And they need to hear it from a true point guard. It's like, hey, you want your kid to be a point guard? Let's start with accountability, which starts in the household first. It does not start on the court. I mean, it can. A coach can trigger it.
Absolutely.
But parent, I'm talking to parent, if you want your kid to be a point guard, in your household, let them be held accountable for the dishes, for the floor not being mopped, for you waking up in the morning, for the dog to clean their poop up, whatever it is. Give them those responsibilities and teach them accountability and how to handle that pressure of being accountable to others. And hey, you're developing a point guard now.
For sure. For sure. Otherwise, you're just a playmaker, which really everybody on the court should be. Right. You should be a playmaker, but that, to your point, man, accountability is the thing that separates you as a point guard. And when you're willing to be that for everybody and stand in the gap for everybody, point guard 101. Welcome.
What I like about your journey is that you just were you through it all, right? You weren't trying to be someone else. Like you said, you leaned into what God blessed you with. And then the people that you were connected to because of your character, because of your relationships and your community, that allowed you to get to the next place. Even though people were hired and fired so you can be where you were supposed to be. It seems like, you know what I mean? And that's how God works, right?
That part, man, that's really this is how God works. Like, and it is a journey of self-discovery. Like I'm learning that more about basketball than anything. Like being able to reflect on my journey, my career. I still work with a few future up and coming point guards, and I get to see like how spiritual basketball is and how much of a true craft it is, and point guarding being like a sub craft, if you will, of that. And it is really just you being able to discover who you are and grow in who you are and remain who you are, because without it, like, you will get lost in this thing. So that is the fight of all this. You can be in any kind of chaotic situation, and if you know who you are, like, you're gonna come out of it. You know what I mean? Or if you're willing to discover who you are, you may not know who you are immediately, but if you're willing to, like, these are some things that, like, some principles that I'm gonna stick to, I believe you'll be successful. You'll get through any type of storm, or any type of successes, any type of adoration that comes to you. Which, you know, we've seen some people fly too close to the sun sometimes too. So, but if you know who you are, you're willing to at least discover who you are. I think that's what basketball is all about, man. Because it is a mirror. It's a mirror. You're going to find out who you are, and if you're not willing to face it, you run from it, you don't want to be accountable, you don't want any of those things, you're not gonna survive this thing. I don't care how much you move through. And it's people that I've at least come across in the league that I'm looking at like status and all that. So you can cover yourself in this and use it as a defense, but you're tormented inside. Like you don't really know who you are. You're not really successful in that way. Money, cars, all that other stuff, cool, but you're not really who you say you are. And
no, that's it. No, that's when I part of what we do with my player development office blueprint. We put kids through, hey, how to become a recruitable student athlete. That's what we start with, is your identity and who God says you are, who your family says you are, who you say you are, and then also pulling your role within that, right? If it's a point guard, if it's whatever position, but learning your role in life is important, not just your position on the court, knowing how to complement a team, right? That's what's going to make you successful, because you can't do it by yourself.
No.
You can't do anything in this life by yourself.
No.
You can't. And so I love that highlight of that identity piece, and under parents, that's where you have to start. It does not start with, oh, let's just get in the gym and work. You have to have a mindset to be able to get in the gym and work every day. And
Absolutely.
that's what it starts with, that identity and knowing who you are and your character, what you're going to stand for.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
No,
absolutely.
That's dope.
Yep.
So you go on to college. So college experience.
Yeah.
What is that like?
Man, so coming out of PCC, those 2 years were monumental, transformational for me. It was a very individualistic period of my life where I kind of just got to focus on me, still within the context of team and community, but I got a chance to really just focus on me and be a little bit more assertive and selfish. And it was great. I needed it because it got me to Vanguard. And again, coming out of PC, no one's knocking, beating down my door. This is all relationship based. So Mike Jones, Idris Jones had this relationship with Cam Dollar, who was at Vanguard University, formerly Southern California College, I believe they were. He ends up leaving, but they drove me down to play at Vanguard, playing a couple controlled scrimmages, pickup games, and the coach that ended up recruiting me, who they had hired on, was like, I need you, almost on the spot, let's do it. I come back again, he's just like, yeah, we good, give him the letter of intent to sign. So I end up going to Vanguard, and ironically enough, coach ends up resigning. Shout out to Jim DeGroot, one of my favorite coaches who I never got to play for. Wonderful man, and I understand why he did it. He's a single father. He had moved from somewhere Midwest to come coach. Thought he could, handle all of the responsibilities, if you will, that come with coaching, which I know just day to day, and raise his 2 kids at the time. And I think he just had to kind of, look himself in the mirror and say, I'm going to choose my family. And I'm stopping to even say that because that was a really big lesson for me at the time. And I respected him then for pulling us all together to say that. I respect him today because I look back on it and go, he made a statement that my family's going to be bigger than this. And so even me coming into this, it was I'm in the right spot. If these are the people that y'all bringing on and that I'm here for, I hate losing him because we talked about what the offense would be. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to play in this. Still at the moment, sitting with my mom, my dad was like, yeah, it's kind of where you need to be though. This is the environment that you're in, it's where you need to be. And it remained that for the most part. It had its challenges. Culturally speaking, it was night and day from what I came up with. Like I said, I grew up in predominantly black community, very black-centric, black power focus, to Orange County, to Costa Mesa, which the wealth was something I had never really witnessed. Culturally, we're just different. At the time, I'm not really I believe in God, but I'm not really walking in my faith, to be very honest, just still kind of wild, rough around the edges. So I'm gleaning from that too, because Vanguard is a Christian university. And although things didn't go like how I maybe would have wanted them to go in my college experience, what I thought my college experience was going to be. It was perfect for me, both on and off the court. And so basketball wise, my coach at the time, again, put the ball in my hands. My junior year, put the ball in my hands. There was a wrestle there. Again, I'm unorthodox in how I played at the time. Optically, I'm unorthodox. He also didn't recruit me. Right. So there's that. He had to step in. He was the athletic director, so he had to kind of step in and take us all on. So there was some of that involved in my, the obstacles there too. But was able to kind of win him over. Was able to pull back or call back to my senior year of high school where I'm dealing with, or my high school experience where I'm dealing with a coach who, for no other reason than just how I look and how I play, is like, I don't know. So this one was like, it's, we'll get through. It was, don't get me wrong, it was a couple of times I called my dad like, yo, this is, I need to look for another school or something. My dad's like, man, if you done already won this battle. Like, here, go win this again. So it was a lot of like just growth in that way. And then on the court, man, I think that was a time where like, you kind of ask like, when did you know? At Vanguard, so I finished there in 2006. So I'm there 2004 to 2006. I redshirted between my junior and senior years of playing.
Why the redshirt?
Not all of my units transferred from PCC to Vanguard. Yeah, so they didn't all transfer over. So, and man, kudos to Vanguard. They were like, we'll honor your scholarship, keep you on board. So I got to really just be a student one year, which was unique, right? It was unique. And I got to develop fully. Remember, I'm still kind of young. I'm really young. So I got to like spend that year, get my body right. I'm in the gym all day. I'm learning the system a little bit better. Instead of having to rush and kind of like, I got 2 years only. So that year was just transformational again. It was big. Then I kind of walk into my senior year with like this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like this, let's go. And ended up winning Player of the Year in the GSAC at Vanguard. So, which for me is like probably larger than, if you write it down, people like GSAC, you NAIA. For me, man, like forget what everybody else talking about. Forget that. What? I was like blown away because at this time I hadn't won anything, hadn't really been acknowledged for anything, didn't know I was going to win. There was no murmurings of like, hey, you might, none of that. Like I get I get noticed, a notification maybe a day before like getting handed. And I'm like what? Like when did any of this even happen? Like I didn't even, think I was considered or being looked at in that way.
It was absolutely cooking.
Yeah, it was absolutely cooking. It was absolutely cooking.
And your focus.
In a point guard way, yeah.
Yeah, and your focus was on a different level to not even recognize the impact that you were having on the court.
Yeah, it was on a completely different level, man. Looking back on it, it was on a completely different level. But yeah, that was a college experience, bro. Yeah.
Let me ask this: what is what do people not think about on the NAI level that they should think about for those kids who are D1 or bust, or I don't want to play a low level of basketball? Like, I don't think they understand what the GSAC is and what kind of athletes and players go through there, and how good NAIA basketball is.
So I don't know where it is now, and it's not to speak against it. Like I just literally just don't know where the standing is now, but when I entered into it, I myself thought the same because you hear so much about D1 and D1 and D1 and you got to go D1 that one have to fight against feeling like, oh, I'm in this lower level, like, kind of have to work against that. I remember going to see as I started to know that I may end up going to an NAIA school, was talking to Coach Jones while I was at PCC. I remember going to watch Azusa Pacific play. And this is when Caleb Gervin was and he went to Louisville. So this is like not just D1, but like high major. Caleb Gervin, a dog. I went to go watch him. He ends up transferring back to Azusa Pacific. I went to go watch him play. And I'm watching the game and I'm like, this is NAIA? Like,
right.
like, yo. And it wasn't like he killing, like he a dog. But this dude's going at him. And it's competitive. I'm like, oh, this, okay. Like, so when I enter into it, I'm so glad I got to go watch those games because to me, the biggest difference is with NAIA is we just don't have I don't know what it is now, but at the time, we didn't have the 7-footers. So the size, you don't have. But because you don't have the size, the discipline is completely different. So where you may not be having to throw this big floater, like you need to learn to like shoot this pull-up because the coaches are drilling rotations. They're loading up, one side of the floor, or you're gonna see all different type of pick and roll defensive schemes, or you'll see a coach pick on you immediately. And again, not to say this doesn't happen in D1, but there's just a bit more of an emphasis to it when I don't have a 7-footer behind me to like kind of guide you into, he gonna clean up my mistakes and If I don't lock up and guard my yard and all of this, and we're not guarding in tandem as a team, we're not on the string, like we're gonna lose. We're gonna get exposed. So there's a bit more of an emphasis on that. I would compare it to my experience playing overseas to what I've experienced playing. I didn't play in the league, but playing in the G League. I played in the G League, so playing in the G League, playing in the Drew, like the basketball is different because the spacing is different, the athletes are different, the IQ is a little bit different. What you have to focus on when I can't jump over everybody, I may not be able to run by everybody, the game changes a little bit. So NAIA for me I would compare it to that, to what I experienced even playing against guys who played D1. Like I would find my edge against them because they wouldn't remain as disciplined. As me. So that would be the thing that,
athleticism a little bit more.
They rely on athleticism a little more. So now you're not watching film the same way. Now you don't want to sit in the stands the same way. Now you don't feel the need to make multiple efforts. You're used to like being able to jump over somebody. So me boxing you out irritates the heck out of you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. And you really, really learn to the intricacies of the game and the nuances of like, I am gonna hold you a little bit here. I kind of have to be competitive. So that would be the difference. One is not better than the other to me, from what I understand. Like it's really not. It's really not. It's more subjective than I thought. It's more subjective. Like
college ball is college ball.
College ball is college ball, man.
I think what you did. Is what kids need. Go watch a game. Go watch multiple games at that level. At every level, actually. Go see the games at every level. That way you can have a visual. Because what you think you see isn't what you see. And watching it on TV is not the same as seeing it in real life, man.
And if you have the benefit of playing against them, do that.
Yes.
Like if you can go, which
open run.
From what I know, NAIA, they not turning like, come on. Come play.
You can recruit.
Come play.
Wild West.
Yeah, if you feel like NAIA D2 is beneath you, go play against them. Go play against them and find out. Because I know personally, I have dog walked quite a few dudes that played D1 along my journey when I was in NAIA and along my journey. Like, you went to where? All right. Like, so go play against them. Go play against them. Yeah.
Love that. Love that. So player of the year. So professional opportunities open up. So what was that transition like? Once again, being an undersized player, little unorthodox, but hooper.
Yeah. I didn't know what this professional life was about at all. At all. My goodness. And that's both on the court and the business of it. I didn't know. I had a really good agent. Really good agent. His name's gonna come to me in a second. I'm blanking. But he played with Hank Gathers, Bo Kimball. He was the shooter. Man, his name's gonna come to me in a minute. Anyway, but really awesome agent who had kind of mapped out what my career could look like. I didn't, again, at this time, no one's like picking up the phone like, oh, you UCLA point guard. Like, yeah, we got this amount of money. It wasn't that. I knew I was gonna have to navigate this thing much differently. I learned that in high school. Like, I was gonna have to navigate this thing differently. But I didn't really understand what that professional life was like. And my agent, I think he did the best that he could dealing with a very green, hard-headed, stubborn young point guard at the time. And I was like, all right, I'm about to go pro. That means my first contract, I need to be making $25,000 a month. I'm about to go buy this house and this car and all this. And he was like, yeah, you're going to go to Germany and this is how we can do it. And you can, make about, $1,200 a month. I'm like, all right, so, and you fired, dude. Like, and I did. I fired him. And it was my biggest mistake and also greatest decision ever. Biggest mistake because he would have been the perfect guide for me. Because that's exactly what he was. Knowing, like looking back on it, knowing what I made, and especially like my first couple years, he wasn't gonna make nothing off of that. He was really just trying to help me start my career, and that was what his I would say like his purpose was at the time. And he would have helped me navigate that a lot better. My career probably would have it would have went a lot differently. But it was also the greatest decision I made because for some reason I like learning the hard way, and I learned a lot of things and learn the hard way, and it helped me understand the business. And I had to okay, if you're not gonna have an agent, you're gonna have to be able to figure this thing out. So I ended up getting my first contract. I played in Germany. I played Pro B in Germany. I ended up getting it going on a tour, almost like a basketball missionary tour in Germany with the organization called News Release, that really gathered players, seniors from the GSAC, because most of the schools in the GSAC at the time were Christian schools. So they would pull in, again, players that were seniors, went on this tour in Germany. We stopped in Berlin. We made our way down to Frankfurt and all the way down to Munich. I played in 3 games on this tour. We played against a top team, a Pro A team, and a Pro B team. And I will say, honestly, killed each and every one of them teams. I did kill each and every one of them teams, but I didn't get picked up by my team and not signed. They invited me to training camp. They didn't invite me to training camp till the day before I was supposed to come back. The last day of the tour, they were like, hey, do you want to stay for training camp? I was like, that's why I kind of came on this trip.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I came on this trip. Heck yeah, I'm staying.
Yeah.
We don't know. We can promise you. We give you a room to stay in, but you're going to have to work your way into training, through training camp. And I did. God bless me. Was able to extend my ticket a little, indefinitely, kind of put it on hold. Don't even know if you can do that anymore. They, gave me a place to stay. I was able to even added me to the meals, worked my way onto the team. Just lets you know how ridiculous I think I am sometimes, ambition wise. We get to the table to negotiate. You made the team, cool. So we go in and negotiate. I don't like the number. It was both numbers.
1,200 again?
Yeah, it was lower than that. Lower than that. I don't like the number. They're like, well, okay. So I come home. I went through all of this to then be like, nah, I don't like the number. I go home, I'll figure something else out, but I'm not doing it for that, right? So 3 games go by. They actually end up picking up somebody as one of my dudes, Eric Allen. End up signing him. So it's this weird mirror, right? My coach at Vanguard, Jim DeGroot, leaves because of his daughter. Eric, who ends up taking my spot, plays 3 games. In Germany, he ends up leaving because he's having a daughter. So he leaves you know what, I'm go home, birth of his child at the time. So now they don't have a point guard. They three games in, but this is 3 weeks for me. And at this time, I'm just like, did I make the right decision? What am I doing? I went through all of this to back out. But a testament to faith and to God, they got back to my number, brought me back. And been flowing ever since. Kind of how I got on. So I like to share that story, but that's how I got on. Wow. It's my first year as my rookie year.
What was your first number, if you don't mind sharing? Because I want people to have a realistic sense of What you received for your first year?
It was €880 a month, which I think at the time ended up being $1,100 a month.
Man,
yep.
That's how it started.
That's how I started.
Yep.
That's how I started. Two seasons after that, it changed.
So what changed? So yeah, when did that overseas money take a jump, and what contributed to that?
It took a jump my third year, which again is an interesting year. I always tell people my career is not shiny. I call it more of a journey than anything. But so I come home from Germany, I end up making my way again. No agent.
So you're negotiating your own deals?
Negotiating my own deals. I negotiate every single one of my own deals. I ein bisschen Deutsch. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Yeah, Karina. Yeah, Karina. But yes, come home, play in the D League at the time make my way onto the D League. They bring me in during the summer. I don't know. I think Chucky Brown. Shout out to Chucky Brown. The Defenders. Yeah, no South Bay Lakers. This is Los Angeles Defenders. This is back in the day. Yeah. This is back in the day. So shout out to Chucky Brown, but also shout out to Coach Rasheed Hazard. Small world. His auntie, Maisha Hazard, and my mom were like really good friends. So his dad, Walt Hazard, like I know their family really well. Like
Max
really
Hazard's brand scene is
for sure. Shout out Max. What up, Max?
Sponsor on the show.
So okay, dope, man. So Max been my guy. I used to I don't want to say train Max, but like we would work out all together all the time. But his uncle, he was on double duty. He was assistant coach for the Lakers, player development, and he would also assistant coach for Defenders at that time. So both of them having just the utmost confidence in me brought me on. So I'm with the Defenders the entire summer. I ended up making that team. Not much negotiation really went into that because of how I got on. At that time, they had like 3 tiers of contracts you could be in. Right. How I got on was I showed up to.
They would either pay you in peanuts, Skittles, or sesame seeds. Correct?
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm allergic to sesame seeds, so I couldn't get those. But yeah, so they paid me. They paid me. Crazy, they paid me. They paid me in peanuts. Yeah. They paid me in peanuts, but love of the game. But anyway, I get on by going to the tryout, but I already knew I was with them the whole summer. They just like, all right, that's how we gonna work this. So I get on, have what I believe to be a really good season for me at the time. Like I think I averaged, please fact check, but I think it was like 8 points, 8 assists, like 6 rebounds for me, which is wild. 6 rebounds, right? But not wild. I'll tell you, I got a trick to how I do that. But that was that year that kind of like gave me a stamp more than anything. So numbers aside, I'm in the NBA sphere of things. So like we really know what it is here. You're not in the league, but to put that on your resume at that time, it helps you career-wise when you want to go play abroad. That was kind of what got me to the next stop, which is China. And I must say, man, shout out to Frank Robinson, who he had just come back from China. He had like a small stint in China, I believe, and he knew was with the team that I ended up playing with, Dongguan Leopards. They're now in Shenzhen, but Dongguan Leopards. Guy by the name of Jack Mai, who's still my guy. He was with the Sacramento Kings and was like the liaison between China. I say names just so that you know the story is real, but end up going to a workout, getting into this workout for this Chinese team, and it's me and another amazing killer of a guard, Josh Okoye, who went to Fullerton with Frank. Who I didn't know at the time, hadn't met him. Got to know him. That is my brother to this day, another man of faith. So we end up in this workout, and Coach Gorgian, who's the Australian national team coach, is coaching the Dongguan Leopards in China now. He went to Crescenta Valley, so he's from the same area. Small world how this stuff works. He makes a decision at the time to he ends up going with Josh. But he's like, brings me along. They end up paying me like I'm on the team, and I end up being on the team.
So you got put on like as a reserve?
I got put on as a reserve.
And then you end up just working your way.
End up working my way on and playing.
And this is your first 6-figure deal?
This is my first. It ends up being a 6-figure deal. I was there 2 years. It ends up being a 6-figure deal. Oh. So crazy. I only ended up playing 4 games, I think. That's why I said, man, my career is, I call it a journey. It's a journey, and God is good. I made the most money playing basketball, playing the least amount of games. I know.
Amen.
I know. Amen.
It's a testament to your character, man.
Yeah.
Like the work.
Yeah.
And that part of it, man.
Yeah.
That's what people need to see, man. Derek Anderson posted something on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, social media yesterday as the draft was going. He's like, hey, you see what they're doing. They're talking about your hard working. They're drafting you for your hard working character over your skills. Now. Like, y'all better take note.
Take note.
And that's just true testament to your career.
Man, like what do they say? It does. It opens doors. Your gift does open up doors, but your character keeps you there. It keeps you there. It really does. Because, you know, I end up being able to, even at the time, I can't do it now, learn and speak a little bit of Mandarin. I'm also, at the time, probably could have pivoted into coaching because I'm with Gorgian every single day. Trying to figure this thing out. I'm rocking with Josh, trying to help Josh. Like, again, he ends up becoming my brother. We don't compete against each other, not at any point along this journey. We don't compete against each other. And for us, that was something that was like really awesome, because I think in any other space, you know, he was probably be looking over his shoulder like, this dude I'm not coming in that way. Like, I'm not, you know, pause. I'm not, pause, triple pause. Stop it, Karina. Jesus.
Josh.
Big pause. But yeah, so that was really cool. So yeah, man, character keeps you in the rooms that your gifts get you into. I'm gonna end it there because that was wild.
After China, what happens next? We too immature for this. We too immature for
We
this.
gotta have some sort of fun in all of this, man.
Hey, this is life.
Shoot, this is life, man. We gotta have some sort
crazy.
of fun.
I'm glad that we all acknowledged it.
Yeah.
And that you took accountability as a point guard for that. Now, after
My
China,
turnover.
After China, you're there for 2 years.
Yeah.
What happens next? So you have a 12-year international career.
Yeah.
And so kind of jog me through
Yeah,
the rest of that career.
I can speak to this.
And yeah.
I'll speak to this. So the rest of it is I got really close to retire, like wanting to retire right there. I wanted to be done. I started to see the other side for me. Like, I really loved the business of it. I got to dig into the business of it in China, and I don't want to skip this part. What they allowed me to do, I'm on contract. They're already paying me very well. And the owner of the team at that time is worth $55 billion.
That's it?
That's it. Okay. Not, you know, light work. $55 billion. He doesn't really deal with Americans. He doesn't really deal with any players, period. Doesn't really deal with Americans. But I think in my conversations with Jack gave me a nod to the owner of the team. So they end up bringing me on this side project. He was building an NBA school, what we dubbed the NBA school, in like right outside of Dongguan, in one of the smaller spots. I end up meeting David Stern. Like, David Stern flies over. There's this like conference. So I'm walking through the steps, like precursor almost of what district ended up becoming. I'm walking through this. I'm like, all right, yeah, this is the type of programming you should have for all of your kids. I'm in a city, there's 30 million people. They probably had at the time 3 million in the city registered basketball players from 8 years old to 18. So I'm walking them through programming. We're walking through what would become this NBA school facility. I'm showing them like, yeah, if you put this here, then you can utilize this space for this. And like, we're walking through every single element of this. So I come really, really close to retiring. Like, I think I'm gonna be done. This is the business, what I love, is what I can.
Look how big NBA academies are now.
Exactly, exactly. We're gonna get back to that at some point. But yes, but I don't retire, but I start to wrestle with basketball a little bit. I don't retire, but I do kind of put myself in this interesting space where I'm not even thinking about playing anymore. So I'm my own agent. So I don't really put fillers out. I go into like midpoint of what would be a normal season, not playing anywhere, not doing anything. And I have a guy reach out to me and goes, bro, are you still playing? What you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm still hoop. I'm still, I work out every day. I love it. He's like, man, you want to go, to this, I think it was like a tour workout with me. Anyway, it's Keys. It's Keon.
Of course.
It's Keon.
Of course it is.
Yup. So Keys hit me and he takes me on this Dubai trip. So we end up going to Dubai to play, and that experience, like, puts basketball right back into my spirit.
Who else was on this trip with him that was on this show? Somebody else talk. Who? You can talk Korean out loud. Go ahead. No. Was it Frank? Maybe no. Was Frank on this trip?
No, they went.
Rob Valentine.
No, but I know they've gone. Keys is taking a couple different.
Or maybe Keys was talking about this trip.
Maybe he was talking about this trip.
Dubai, but yeah, that's great.
But Keys is though, they went to Japan. I didn't do any of that, but I know like Keys is going on a couple other places. But this one was the one, like, it just kind of like kicked me right back into mode. So I ended up doing that. I also ended up going to go play with Chris Young in Africa. So this is all like kind of within this year to like kicks me back into playing. So I went to Dubai with Keys, then ended up going to Angola and playing with Chris Young, and then from there I ended up jumping right back into like actual career playing in Colombia. So like that year was just really interesting. Maybe about a year and a half where I kind of used those as like launch pad to get me back into like on my career. Then I land back into Colombia and I play in what they call Ligas de las Americas, which is basically their Euro League. So I play on this Colombian team. Colombia at that time, really, really amazing league to play in. A lot of money in it, more than people would even imagine.
Where do they get that money from? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I can't say.
We don't know.
Yeah, I can't say.
Joke.
I can't.
Don't know, guys.
I can't say. Don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Mum's the word. Mum's the word. We were childish. It's cool. But anyway, a lot of money at that time in there, so it was really awesome. But the basketball needed a little bit more development, and I got to be a part of that too. So which was really cool. I ended up go playing Ligas de las Americas, played against all the top teams in South America, and ended up finding my niche like really in South America.
Okay.
So the rest of my time was split between Colombia, Venezuela, and then also playing in Canada. Yep.
Man, that was always my dream to go play in South America somewhere.
It was live. Colombia's like, I was there 3 years, Venezuela a year, played in Panama as well. So yeah, I think I sped through that, and also was in Canada 3 years. So I think we kind of weird timing there. But Colombia, man, Colombia's. People ask me all the same question all the time. What is your favorite place to play? It's Hong Kong for one. I love Hong Kong, love Munich, but Colombia is just different.
Yeah.
Different.
I had a kid who played in El Salvador. Recently, he just retired.
Yeah.
He only played for 2 years.
Yeah.
But he absolutely loved it.
South America is different. People sleep on it. We look to, and rightfully so. Europe is fire. Like Europe is awesome. Only played there a year. Europe is awesome, but it's for me at least the level where I was at, and also they like a certain type of guard too. It didn't fit who I was like to play there. They at the time. Now it's probably a little different. At the time they weren't really going with the smaller guard, a quicker play. I'm there 9 months. You play one game a week, unless you're playing EuroLeague, Euro Cup or something. You may get 2 games a weekend, but if you're just playing in a domestic league, you playing 1 game a week, practicing twice a day for the remainder of the week. Like, it's just kind of grueling. And then again, even certain teams will pay you what you need to be playing certain levels. But what I was getting, I know at the time what I was getting in Colombia was more than what some guys on EuroLeague teams are getting.
So South America paid well as well.
Very well, paid very well, and the seasons were shorter, which great advantage because I still played the year out like you would anywhere else, but I could move around a little bit more. So if I didn't like a situation I was in, 3-month season, we take a month off. I can go to another team and then play for that team another 3 months.
And you were your own agent this whole time?
And I was my own agent this entire time. I ain't pay no fees. Well, man, yeah. On paper we pay fees, but nope.
right.
Yeah, but nope. Didn't have to pay any fees, man. So
where did you get the business side of your mind? Like you're being consulted to run this MBA academy in China. You're running your own business side of stuff. Where did that come from? Did that come from your education in college, or just? No,
it comes out of what do they say? Necessity is the mother of creation. It comes a lot out of necessity. Like again, me having to think differently, prepare differently in basketball. If you sit another kind of problem in front of me, I'm gonna think about it creatively from a creative standpoint. You do the same thing in business. I'm trying to think of non-traditional, unorthodox ways to solve this problem. I honestly think a lot of my business comes out of like playing chess. It's my first sport. I did that before. I learned how to play chess before I learned how to play basketball. My dad would sit me down 4 years old, 5 years old, and we would literally like teach me the pieces. Wow. We would learn how to play chess. So I think it's more of a thought process than anything. And then the other part of honestly of business, which we've talked about, is the same thing in basketball, which is your character. And so if I am attentive and I'm listening, I'm paying attention, I'm observant, my character, I'm honorable, I uphold my word. Like to me, it's 75% of business. You can be trusted. So I can put you in this space. One of the things that we're sitting in this building now, one of the things Demetrius has always said to me, Demetrius Spencer has always said to me is, you can learn a skill. It's hard to teach somebody to be loyal and trustworthy and, all of those things. So if your character is up to par, like you can sit across the table from anyone, and if it don't make sense, turn to the lawyer. If it don't make sense, but like being able to think creatively and put those pieces together, point guarding. I'm point guarding still. Nothing. It transfers. People may not even think of it in that way, but those skills of playing point guard absolutely transfer and translate outside of 9450s.
Are you writing a book about all this?
Yes.
Cool. All right.
Yes. It's called KYP too. It's called KYP. It's called Know Your Personnel, man. And I'm taking all of these different lessons, and it's a collection of essays. So yes, I'm writing a book about it.
All right. I love it, man. It's like it just makes too much sense for everyone not to know it. And through your experiences, man, like that's dope.
Appreciate it, man. It's confirmation. Affirmation and confirmation. Thank you.
All that.
Thank you.
All that. I'm gonna need a signed copy and put it right there.
I got you.
All right.
I got you. I might need a foreword or.
I got you.
Okay. All right.
We can actually.
It's on camera.
So I'm actually writing the book too. It's more of a guide.
Okay.
To navigate the grassroots level of basketball.
Oh yeah.
We need that.
Yeah. We absolutely need that.
And so actually, can you write my foreword?
I would love to. I'd be honored. Seriously, I'd be honored. No, Karina. No, Karina.
You can design it.
Yeah. No, Karina.
That's dope. So you finished your career in Canada.
Finished my career. I split. It was weird. I finished my career Canada, Colombia.
Okay.
So again, the beauty of Canada is a 5-month season. So I finished playing in Windsor.
Were you playing Tommy Mitchell up there at the same time?
That name sounds super familiar.
Shooter. He had a 10-day with the Golden State Warriors. He was Mark Jackson's dude.
He may be before me.
Okay.
He may be before me.
Y'all are the
that
same.
name sounds familiar though.
No, I'm gonna show you Tommy. You know who Tommy is. He used to play up at the 360 League.
Okay.
I played in the Drew.
Did he ended up in China at some point too?
Yes, he does a lot of stuff with China.
My bad, Tommy. I do know what you're talking about.
Hey,
I know exactly what you're talking about. But we never played against each other in Canada.
Okay.
We never. I got there 2017. So I'm there 2017, 2018, 2019. He was before me. He was before me. But yeah, I spent my last 3 years 4 or 5 years weird. Like kind of started South America, Canada, South America. Then it was Canada, South America.
Gotcha.
So split. But yeah, my very, very last stop though is Windsor. Windsor Express.
And then how did you know it was time to hang it up?
I knew 3 years before that I was gonna be done. Remember,
so you had 3 years before that. You had 3 years.
I already knew I was done. I didn't know I had 3 years left.
Okay.
But I knew like I wanted to be done. I told you to share with you China. I kind of already knew like, man, I think basketball has run its course. In the sense of like I felt like I had gotten everything out of myself. I felt like I had squeezed everything out of the market. So like I kind of topped out of what I would get. In the market, you got this new crop of extremely talented dudes coming in, and they deserve their opportunity too. The lockout kind of messed the market up as well, 2012. So it's an interesting time there too. So I was like, man, I have other interests, way too many other interests, too many other passions, other skill set. I essentially played my last 3 years as an exit strategy to figure out what I wanted to do after, just to make sure I could take care of like daily expenses, bills, etc. So I knew like, man, I need to figure a way out. And I was having the same experiences too, over and over again. I'm running into the same kinds of people, kinds of situations. And I'm like, man, life got to be more than this. You know what I mean? Life got to be more than this. So I knew, I was aware like that. It was in me this time for real. 3 years before I actually retired, I can go back and trace. Like I knew the 3 years before, I was already kind of mapping it out.
Got it.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Man, that's dope.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Fortunate in that way.
So you stopped playing.
Yep.
And then I just knew the district.
Yeah.
Was right after that happened. Right after that.
Yeah. So district is.
Well, actually, you were in the gym with Sky first, and then it was the district. I remember that.
Yeah.
That's how we met.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, this point, Kenny Clark, point guard dude, and he gonna get Sky right. Show him how to be a point guard. I'm like, all right, dog, you can use the gym. Let's use the gym.
Thank you for that.
And I sat down. I'm like,
thank you for that too.
Oh no, he actually is the truth, man. I used to love just sitting down watching him work.
Thank you for that, man. Because I remember our connection was really dope. Because yes, through Kenny Clark and Sky, but the stamp for me, and I feel like it was for you too, is Trey Meeks.
Yep.
It's also Trey. So that's my brother, man. I know that's yours as well.
Yep.
So yeah, man. Once Trey was like, "No, you really do need to talk to Todd." I was like, "You saying that about that? Like, cool." I know you and I have been locked in ever since. But yeah, district actually comes out of something else that myself, Frank, Joe Crawford, shout out Joe Crawford, went to Kentucky, played for the Lakers, Knicks. And my other brother Tamal Forshawn, who went to George Washington from Philly. We had this other business called SWSX, SWSX, stands for Small World Success Exchange. This is pre-Instagram. This is pre More Than an Athlete. This is and I'm naming these things for a reason. This is the mass movement to Twitter. This is pre-Twitter, pre all of that. We had this platform. We had this idea of a platform that would aid in athletes' ability to do 3 things: understand themselves as a business, understand their brand, and understand their brand value within the market. One of the things along my journey, Frank's journey, Joe, Tamal, we cover everything. Like Frank, Joe, both touched the league in their own way. They play D1. I represent the larger mass because what their upper echelon, if you will, they like Joe McDonald's All-American. So we cover, between our 4 experiences, we cover everything. I've touched every continent on the planet except Antarctica. I don't want to play in Antarctica, but so our experiences, we got to realize like South America is vastly different than Africa, than Australia, than.
I remember this.
I know you do, because you and I had a really long conversation about this.
Okay, that's why. I'm
we just tried to keep it under wraps, because it's still something that, like, to this day, this Swizzix is a brainchild of myself and Tamal's, because we played together in Germany my rookie year. That's 2007, 2008. Dang. So we've had this thing, and there's multiple iterations of it. District is one of them. Like, we learned through this, that through our trying to develop Swizzix, that we were cursed with being a little too ahead of the curve and thinking of athletes as business, and trying to get athletes to see, like, yo, you're your own business. Set yourself up in LLC. That way, everything you do can be a write-off, and you can build your brand. This is, again, it predates NILs. Athletes weren't, specifically internationally, weren't thinking of tapping into their community that they were already implanted into there. Yeah. So your team, your organization has all of these sponsors. They're all over your jersey. Tap into them. Yeah. Let's figure out how you can have a relationship with them. So we wanted to create a platform that would make that conducive, or it's the word I'm thinking of, but like, create an environment. Create an environment for that. When we realized, like, man, we will have to actually sit down with a lot more players and really get them to understand this before they even can, like, really utilize the tool.
We gotta educate them first.
We gotta educate them first.
And that's expensive.
District, it's expensive. It's expensive. So District comes out of that. District's an iteration of Swizzix that, where, you know, things happen. Joe's still my brother, Tamal's still my brother, but everybody, you know, ends up having to deal with life, how they deal with it. Frank and I end up, you know, staying connected and coming up with District. And it wasn't a facility. Frank had, right? Well, even before that, it was really just a nonprofit. It was us trying to figure out how, using basketball, we could onboard really anybody, kids to parents, into a program that could teach them, like, you're a business. So if we could start with them in middle school, how to use technology, why nutrition is important, you know, why you need to tap in with these other industries that are squeezing everything out of your kids anyway. Figure out how to leverage that. Yeah. We wanted to do that part first before we can get you on the court. Dang, that's crazy. Right? And then we'll get you on the court. So it ends up becoming a combine. We go, okay, well, what's the carrot? Basketball is a carrot. So let's do a NBA combine. Again, at that time, I don't remember, at least in our area, too many people combining anything for middle schoolers. So we were like, man, let's try to do it. If you did do it, no knock. Like, I did actually. I'm sorry.
California middle school company.
I'm sorry.
No, we both had cracking events.
Okay.
I don't never hate. We had the
that
same
part. Me neither. You already know what it is.
Yeah.
You already know what it is.
Ours is in May. Y'all's is
that
in
part.
August.
And I be living in a cave, in a tunnel sometimes. So that's why I have to speak the way that I do. Like, man, if somebody else did it, my apologies, because I be thinking I'm the only one sometimes too. Yeah. But so we put something together with District Combine. And I felt like it was successful.
It was so dope. It was, you know what it was, man? It was the first time I felt like the community came together for one event. Like, Frank literally was reaching out to everybody, like, yo, let's come to this combine. And I want you to be there. Like, he invited me, said, I want you to be there and be a part.
Absolutely.
And if you want to coach. And, like, literally, I'm just sitting there watching everything. And he's like, hey, Todd, come talk to these kids about what you're doing. Like, he was really connecting and, like, yo, we just want to give information. Give people a space.
He's good at that, man. Dope. Just everybody, bro. Like, I know I'm missing people, but, like, I do want to shout them out because they've helped not only us, but myself specifically all along our journey. That's Coach Steve Moore. I don't even think he's coaching now, but Steve Moore, that's my brother. Dominguez legend, lefty, tough, came.
His son's going to my program next year.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Good people know good people. Pooh Jeter, bringing his not only his knowledge and ability, another small guard killer, one of the toughest small guards I ever played against in my life. Has always invested in myself and Frank or anything we've done collectively, individually. Big Craig, Rhino. He always pulling up for us in every way. Big Ryan, Hollins. Like I said, I know I'm missing people. I'm sorry, but like the ones that just who I can see. the big homie Al Stafford, who's really, you know, responsible for the Nike connection to the Drew at the time. One of my, you know, current business mentors, but at the time business mentors. Everybody just put up, to your point, man. You bringing your knowledge and yourself, and I know you probably weren't even thinking, you know, you would get kind of pulled into it in that way. But man, it was such a community event, such the village, right? And like, I can't even think I would have to go back and like watch the video to think of like all of the kids that we had in there.
Like,
I know you, because they were all at yours.
Perry, like all these kids that are doing big things now, man. It was literally, it was the spot.
It was amazing.
We pulled from everywhere.
Pulled from everywhere.
And it was beautiful. Man, super organized.
It was beautiful to see, man. Thank you for that, man. And it was great, just even on that side of it, and then on the business side of it, community side, business side of it, it was great for us as well to see like that there's money to be made, but to trying to say it in a like righteously, to do it righteously. A lot of times people thinking do it with integrity. There's a way to do this where we can still make sure we pour everything out to our community, our village of basketball folks, but still make money at the same time. And so we were able to kind of like fall into pandemic hits. We had a plan. We had this, to me, I thought was going to be so cool, which was why we even named it district. Is if you look at it, it's we pronounced it district, but the word also is destruct. So it's why there's no vowels in it, because we wanted to disrupt basketball in every kind of way that we could. And one of those ways, though, was community, man. We were losing, which I feel like we've kind of lost now, but we were losing that community aspect of being able to kind of represent where you're from. Kids aren't going to the schools that they're in, the communities that they live in anymore. And instead of trying to fight against that and, hey, you stay here, you stay in Pasadena, you got to go to the school. If the Pasadena schools aren't providing what they should be, how can you sit and tell a parent to not, I mean, you know what I mean? To not go to where there's resources and all of that. So, okay, well, how can we supplement this thing? So district also becomes a piece of that, like where you do spend your time with your school and whatever, you can come back and represent where you're from with the friends where you're from. So we wanted to do combine, middle school tournament, combine, middle school tournament, pandemic hits. Man. It was beautiful too for us. Man, a lot of lives lost, so I don't want to be insensitive to that. But for us specifically at that time, it was awesome because that is where facility grows out of. Like we're forced to stop. It's one of the first times in I think collectively in our lives where everybody had to like sit your butt down. Yeah. Sit your butt down. What you gonna do? And so we had time to like plot plan, and the district, as you know, it gets built into that, which I have to say I am no longer a part of. But Godspeed to my folks over there.
Absolutely. You guys started something great, and it's continuing to develop, and that you know, just those seeds that are planted. I think that's what's important, and the legacy to live on through all that. And indeed. Have that bigger vision. I think it's the vision that we should all have for this game. Is improving it in some kind of way, not just taking advantage of it because it's a commodity. For sure. And these kids become commodities. But we have to invest back into our community and do it the right way. Man. Whatever the version of that is, the right way.
And I hope I'm not skipping ahead, but like, even though I am no longer there, the mission still continues on. And it's so interesting how, like, you and I just recently sat down and you had these amazing ideas to storytell. I feel like I'm getting back to, it's like you were just saying, like giving, and I hope I didn't cut you off because you just sparked something. It's like, for me, even right now, you told me this was gonna be a therapy session, is being able to still connect in this basketball world, but storytell. It's really all I've ever been trying to do through product, through design of a physical space, through sharing. I think now I get a chance to get back to the educational piece of what started with the Swizzics and the platform of like, here's a way to educate, but I can do it through entertainment. Man. So I can't wait for us to really.
No, I got another idea.
Finish our work. I know you do.
Dr. Naismith just say that to me after this.
Got
so
you.
I can remember.
Okay.
You just
I won't
triggered
forget.
something. I
No,
know
I
you
won't forget. I won't forget. Okay. Anyway. Yep. Sorry.
Man.
Sorry.
But no, you're good.
Okay,
This is what these red chairs are for. Like I literally thought about getting a little lounge one so y'all can lay down while we talk. But
that's fire, dude.
Yeah.
Please do that. No. I'm gonna be selfish. Keep this one. Keep this as it is. We'll elevate the lounge chair because that's perfect. That's a show. It's a different show.
Right. Cut all this off, Karina.
It's a different. That's a different show. It's a different show. It's a different show. Seriously.
Dope.
Seriously.
Man.
Basketball therapy.
Transitioning to what you do now. I think you talked about it. What advice do you have to the retiring athlete of how to transition into that next part of life?
Okay, this may be. I'm gonna walk my way up into your question, but I have to say, like, for the parents, or if you're a part of that a child, athlete's support system, whatever role you play, find as many ways to tether that kid's other interests into basketball, as opposed to what I used to hear a lot, and what I hear a lot of people do a lot is they try to separate the two, meaning they try to separate, like, all right, basketball is basketball, and then, oh, you got to go read, or, oh, you got to go do these other things, when basketball encompasses all of it, every single bit of it, like from the sciences and STEM. Basketball is a part of it. We got to figure out how to make these basketballs. We got to figure out how to create these shoes.
Was that sports science?
Sports science, absolutely. We have to figure that out, right? Or if it's your kid loves numbers and wants to be an accountant or in finance, like basketball's in every single thing. Like, so don't start it early. That's why I was saying the biggest piece of this in any of those decisions of, like, where do we go? Take the basketball out for a minute, find out what your kids' interests are, because you will set them up for life. So that even if they do get this blessing to play basketball for their career and they get paid for it, they won't experience this so-called second death. It doesn't need to exist. I think it's a myth that we need to kill, of like, oh, I retire, I lose basketball. No, you don't. But if you've only been doing basketball and you stop it and you don't know how basketball integrates with other aspects of life, or you don't know how other aspects of life integrate with basketball, you're gonna feel empty. Because that thing has now just been ripped away from you, and now you gotta go find whatever other job is available, versus finding through your sport how whatever your other interests may be, connect to it, because you can stay in basketball forever. You can stay in basketball forever. That's how I end up here to hopefully answer your question. And I advocate for doing that as early as possible. Middle school is probably the best time to do it, to start finding out what your son or daughter loves. But it's never too late, especially if you are a pro. You have, what I know now, you have all the resources at your disposal. Whatever team you're playing with, you have a built-in organization designed to work for you. Make sure you are knocking on the accountant's doors. Make sure you're knocking on the marketing department's doors. Like, that's one of the things I loved about being with the Defenders. Lakers we share a facility, we share an office space. Man, I would leave practice and head right upstairs. I walk right past Mitch Kupchak, right past Ronnie Lester, like, they no issue, and go talk to the accountants and talk to the marketing and talk to Brandon, figure out how this stuff works, ask questions. Like, and it'll only be me and like maybe Frank, one other people that would actually do it. Why not take advantage of that while you have them? Figure out how do they work with the brands? How do they bring in sponsorship? Like, how do they do these things? You have that embedded and really working for you, maybe not directly for you or your brand, but indirectly they're working for this team. They need to hear from you, so they're going to want to sit down and talk to you and
they're
hear
there
from you.
because of you.
They're there because of you.
Most people who work for teams love the sport.
Absolutely,
and the athlete,
absolutely.
part,
so if you love film and that's in your wheelhouse, trust me, there's a PR department, there's a film. Go find Karina. And the Karina's in your space. Seriously, how does this work? What are you looking for? Like, whatever your interests are, if you're a pro at this point, you have that access. That's where you start. While you're playing, or if you're even thinking about retiring, start with the network that you have and then figure it out from there. They will help you figure it out from there. But start with that network.
That's dope.
Yep.
That's very sound and amazing advice, man. All right, we gotta stop the basketball talk. I'm gonna hop into these last segments.
Let's do it.
Thank you, though.
Let's do it.
We can sit here for
I know we
all
can.
day.
I know we can.
My Rushmore. All right, your top 4.
Yeah.
Your top 4 writers.
Yeah.
We talked about writing. That's one of your things.
Yep.
So, authors, writers.
Yeah.
However you want to say your top 4 of all time.
Top 4. Number 1 is James Baldwin. Number 2 is Toni Morrison. 3 is Audre Lorde, and 4 is Octavia Butler.
Oh, you like for real?
Yeah, who happens to be from Pasadena? Who happens? Octavia.
Of course.
Yeah, those are my 4. That's my Mount Rushmore.
And why?
So I'll go through them individually. Baldwin is probably the most sober-minded, honest American author I think I've ever read, experienced, heard from in my life. Like, he just would tell the truth plainly. Like, he never chose a side at a time where he chose a side. I shouldn't say it that way, but he never leaned so heavy into I'm revolutionary or I'm peace. You know, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, or it was just, here's the true reality of how we're as Americans are. Black, white, male, female, gay, straight. Here's how we're killing each other. In all of this madness, here's how we're killing each other. And he was just as sober. He just thought about things and wrote about things as clearly and as sober as I think I've read, at least at this time in my life.
It's kind of how you speak now, just so you know.
Man, I appreciate that. Yeah. That's one of the highest honors ever. Because it's a fight to like try to be able to see everyone's perspective and still maintain your own.
Yeah.
And I think like there's a lot that can be done in that. People can feel heard, seen, but also hear you and see you in that. But if you take such a hard stance and you kind of like block anybody off from hearing anything you say, and it's like, what for, man? We here to like move all of these things forward. I don't care what you do, what your walk of life is, what your faith is, none of that. Yes, I have my own personal, but I sit down with anybody. I've sat down with anybody, prison to the palace. Like, I know them for real. So, Baldwin is that. Toni Morrison, because just as a storyteller, I think she's one of the most courageous people ever. Like, to be able to tell a story from a female lens, from a African American lens, and not, especially at the time that she was writing, time she wrote, and not prioritize dominant culture or the white lens or the white gaze. I glean a lot from that because I understand that experience. And you asked me if I'm writing, like I'm writing from one of those perspectives now through the lens of someone who played basketball as a person on the margins. I'm not tall. I don't pass the eye test. I don't play the orthodox way that a coach would be like, oh, I love that. Like, everything in me, my perspective, I challenge coaches a lot of times, not disrespectfully, but I sit and, why are we doing this? Why? Like, my approach to this is not traditional. Yeah. And so I glean from her a lot on, it takes a lot of courage to do it, because it may mean you may not make the most money. It means you may not enter every single door. Her books are still to this day banned in a lot of different places, just because she was courageous enough to write from a particular lens. So I love her for that. Audre Lorde is one of my favorite because she is ruthless. She's a ruthless writer in the sense of like blunt, brash. I really don't care how you feel. Back to that point guard part of like, I do need to be able to like, I know you felt like you open. I know you think you need the basketball right now, but you're not getting it. Like, I'm shooting a rock. You know what I mean? And so she writes from that lens of like, I'm not here really to appease you. I'm not here to. I don't care who you are. We may share this thing. She is a queer woman, and she would get at the queer community very directly, very upfront. Like, yeah, we of the same. I'm still finna talk to you. Yeah, very brash, very blunt, and I loved it. I appreciate it. And then Octavia Butler, yes, her being from Dina, I relate, man. She talks so much about our. She uses Altadena, Pasadena in her story, so I pull from that a lot too, especially because I walk them same streets. But my tattoo is from my mother, but it's very Pasadena, but it's also very Afro-futuristic. We exist, NASA exists in Pasadena, JPL. Mm-hmm. So we see rockets and stuff, like literally, like not the big ones, but we see stuff go to Mars all the time and stuff be flying in the air. Like, Pasadena's a really weird place, interesting place. But like, yeah, we got like some interesting stuff. There's Caltech and there's JPL and there's Parsons. And for her to have written all these, these very Afro-futuristic books, it just reminds me all the time. One, it was grounded, quite literally where I'm from. It's grounded. She uses where we're from. Then she takes me to outer space, and she shows that like these people that, for as long as we've been in America, have kind of been told we don't belong here. Not only do we belong here, but we create the future and we exist in this future. And I love that because I always want to be able to speak to, when I'm telling people the truth, like Andre 3000 has a line, I tell it like it is and I tell it how it could be. So she does that really well.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I don't even want to do my 4 L's, deep as hell, man. So mine are more information based.
Karina's mean.
What'd she say?
She said Dr. Seuss. He a genius though. He brilliant too. Shout out Dr. Seuss.
Silverstein,
Shout out Dr. Seuss. Shout out Dr. Seuss.
Mine are more. I'm an information guy.
Yeah.
Like I don't. So mine would be, one is Saul Paul from the Bible.
Absolutely.
I love the epistles.
Oh man.
Romans.
I'm with you there.
I'm just. It just speaks to me.
I'm with you there.
Man.
Yeah, man.
It is what it is. Like. Yeah, Paul can write, and I can see what he's writing, and I like that. I like to envision. This one, I don't really care what people think. It's actually Will Smith.
Okay.
His autobiography is crazy.
Really?
Man.
I gotta read it.
Oh man,
he speaks so well, so I'm not shocked by it.
And then listen to the audiobook.
Okay.
The audiobook is even better, but his storytelling ability is with the best of them. And I've literally listened to the book maybe 20 times.
Okay.
It's like literally a I don't know, man. I was a Will Smith fan.
It's all good. I am. Me too. Me too.
But that book, man, the way he writes it, I get something new from it almost every time. Then I'm going to have to go with John Maxwell.
Yeah,
so during
John
COVID,
C. Maxwell.
Man,
Shout out John C. Maxwell.
Leadership. Yeah. I read 36 of his books during COVID.
Purpose-driven life.
That's Rick Warren.
Purpose-driven life.
That's
Rick Warren, my bad. What's John C's?
His is all the Leadership 21.
Leadership 21, leadership. John C. Yes, okay.
All that. He has everything's about leadership.
Apologies.
Yes, same tune
Similar. I used to read all them too, man.
And then I'm gonna have to go with John Wooden. Just because that's probably what I read most of.
Yep.
And just the simplicity of high character with him. You
ever get a chance to meet him?
I did not.
No.
Oh, wait. Man, I think I did when I was way younger. Very briefly at UCLA. My dad went to UCLA.
Yeah.
My dad had me when he was young. I think it was at UCLA. I think I actually did meet him. Yeah. And he signed my book.
Yep. Wizard. Yeah. He really was a wizard. I got to go to his camp. They used to have him in La Canyada. That's where I met Omar too. It was crazy. Flashback. But got to meet him. Bro, he really looked like a wizard. I was like, his aura, everything. I'm like, man, this dude is.
That man's ears are big, but
humongous.
Dope. Whatever. I'm a huge John Wooden fan, but
we can't be serious about nothing.
Those are my 4 authors.
Yeah, for sure.
Yours are, man. I'm gonna check all them out.
Please
I'm
do.
Have to read at least one book from each of them.
Please do. I'll shoot you some. How about that?
I appreciate that.
Make it easy. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yep. All right. Fix the net. A misconception about Horace or basketball that you would like to make straight?
I don't care what y'all misconceive about me, so it's gonna be about basketball. Like I don't care, like misconceive it. But I think the misconception that I would love to get straight about basketball, more specifically about basketball players, is, man, I'm going out on a ledge here, but you don't have to be more than an athlete. You don't have to be more than an athlete. Being an athlete is more than enough. We are everything. Stop feeling like you got to be more than that. Be an athlete everywhere. It's the reason why everyone is attracted to us and everyone wants to be around you. It's the reason why every business utilizes sports in some sort of way, and specifically basketball. You can be an athlete, find a way to be an athlete in business, find a way to be an athlete in your home. Like I said, Ty and I have talked so much, and I'm talking to the camera now. Ty and I have talked so much about how what you do on the court translates off the court, but really utilize that. Think about how being a point guard works in your household, how you can lead your family through being a point guard, how you can lead your business, your community through being a point guard. You don't have to think in the sphere of being more than an athlete. Being an athlete is more than enough.
Man. Hey, with
Finger
the left. Love that.
Yes,
Love
sir.
that.
Yes, sir.
Now we flip the script. You become the interviewer, I'm the interviewee. 2 questions for me.
2 questions for you. Where does your passion for 2-parters? 1 question. I'm cheating. It's
all good. I
2-parter. What is your passion? 1, because you have it. Where does your passion for basketball come from? More importantly, man, where does your passion for your family, community, kids? I'm like, all those are all the same. Your passion. You talk about your wife and your kids with so much joy. Man, I love it. I hope I get there one day. But where does it come from? Basketball, because you intertwine the two a lot too. Where does your passion come from?
I'm gonna start with my family.
Absolutely.
Because I got to think about the basketball one actually for a second. So my family is just how I was raised. My mom is a caretaker. She takes everybody in. She loves hard. So I learned the way to do things and the way not to do things through her love and compassion, and my dad just allowing people to live with us. The care they take of people. They run group homes now. Adopt kids. My mom is still adopting kids after she's 60 plus. We want her to stop. Mommy, stop adopting the kids.
Hey, her purpose is her purpose, man. She living in her purpose, man. She living in purpose. She in purpose. I got you, Mom. I got you, Mom.
That is just I've seen the best and the worst from marriages, and so my focus is always on my marriage and my wife, and making sure that we grow together and we communicate and we have the tools that we need to navigate through marriage. I'm not saying that we're always happy and that we're always doing well, but for the most part, we are. Absolutely. Marriage-wise, it's about to be 11 years.
Man, congratulations.
We've had a very happy marriage. Me and her, we don't fight. We had disagreements. Most of the time now it's about the kids, and so that ain't got nothing to do with our marriage. That has to do with parenting, right? And that because just the different ways we were raised and different ways we see the world when it comes to that. And then my kids, man, they're blessings. They weren't supposed to be here. Like they were 2 miracles, and so man, I just don't take them. And they got my face. They act like me. Like it's just the joy is just from. Man, I've been taking care of other people's kids for so many years. Man, I got my own, and so I'm going to commit my time to make sure that they have what they need as far as identity. Like your parents did a great job with you, man.
Appreciate
you can see it, you can hear it. Like I want my kids to have that same experience, and so that's what I'm just trying to give. So
for sure.
Let me see.
Passionate basketball.
This round ball here. It gave me an escape. Like I said, my family is always taking people in. There's always like literally 15 people living in my house at any given time in my life. And my mom also was the daycare service. And she also did hair, and so she didn't sell them. But
and she had the 2,000 snacks.
And so I'm a people person. I have discernment with people. I like to connect with people. I love for people to be their best. But I get tired of people, and I get drained as well. And so this was, I got to get away with this, where my brother was a homebody. He liked computers and music, and he was at home, so he's always around. This was, hey, can I go play basketball? Yes. Oh, I'm on a basketball team. I get to leave. I got to go on special trips on the weekend to go hoop in San Diego, Orange County, wherever. Arizona, Vegas, all those things. And so it was my getaway from a very busy life. Wasn't bad. Nothing crazy was happening. A little crazy, some crazy stuff, but nothing super crazy was happening to me. I didn't suffer any crazy trauma or anything like that. But it was my release, and it's been the one thing that I could spend time with that always improves to this day. Like, if I don't put work in, I get better at this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm
crazy. It's addictive, man.
And so, and it's taught me my life lessons. It's taught me to be a point. I wasn't always a point guard. I didn't become a point guard until I was 20 something. Like the point guard we're talking about. And man, it's just been there. Yeah, it's been there. That's cool. When I could just,
Okay, I got you. All right, my second one. Again, I'm cheating. A little bit of a two-parter in there.
That's Karina. You taking up Karina's time at this point. You don't have to pay her.
She like.
No, this is a good episode. She don't care.
I appreciate
it's
that.
Weak people that be on this
appreciate
show
that. Appreciate that. All right, so because we are at National Lampoon, I want to know, man, what movie about your life? What's the title of this movie? Can't be a name. What's the title of this movie? Who plays you?
About my life?
About your life. What's the title of this movie? Who plays you?
The title of the movie is Rumple Light Skin.
Rumple
Light Skin.
Ooh, I like it. Okay.
I'm messing with Karina.
Oh, okay. I say, okay.
That's my
Rumple Light Skin. Okay.
That's my
okay.
No, see, let me actually think of the
okay.
name. Hold on,
okay. Come on.
The name
of this movie. It's the name of this movie, and who plays you?
The name of the movie. It'd be an acronym. It'd be ATTAM. ATTAM.
ATTAM. Okay.
I mean, all things to all men. So there's a scripture in the Bible, and it's talking about how, I don't have to be one way or another way.
Be all things to all men.
I become all things to all men to give them what God has told me to give them. And so it's something I try to live my life by. It's like, hey, what do you need? Okay, I can help you with that.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Anthony McGee for giving me the words to describe that. Hey,
That's powerful.
I may not be able to give it to you, but I know somebody. I for sure know somebody who can.
For sure.
And so my goal is to be all things to all men, and not in the way of I don't want anybody to worship me. I want them to worship. I want this to point back to God, but I want to be a resource to anyone who has a plan or a goal, and I want to give them the plan and the blueprint to get there. And so it would be called Adam, and it would be a play on words, and then. Who would play me? Probably Timo Cruz, old boy from Coach Carter, man. Just because you see it, you see it. Timo, my boy Timo, he got to him, and then the young version of me will be played by Roman Fisher, one of my kids that I train right now. One of my young boys. He'll be my teenage self. Cool. And then we'll grow up to be Timo Cruz.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I need Timo to get a little bit taller.
Adam is a brand, bro. Just want to say that.
So it's the name of my management company.
Makes sense.
So it's Adam Management. So something I stepped into.
Absolutely.
I think we talked about it on the Travis episode.
Okay.
I'm stepping into helping manage. It's not everybody.
I got you.
But certain people.
I got you.
Karina being one of them. She's become super busy, and she don't know how to tell people no, and she don't know how to ask people for the correct her work.
Her value.
Yep.
Straight out.
Let me be the bad guy.
Absolutely.
Let me do that.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's
awesome.
is.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
I made a logo and all that, and Karina didn't help me with the logo. All right.
Love it.
You got that camera, 24-second shot clock.
Which camera? Middle one?
And find you, and that one.
This one? First one.
Yeah,
okay.
And a message, any message that you have.
Whew. I'm only on Twitter. I am not calling it X. Twitter. I refuse. At H0RVCE. I think I'm done with IG.
You can't be, because we gotta post at least one collab post. and then you can be done. So I just need one, and you could go.
Then I can go back again because I'm not on now.
Yeah, you need to activate, so I can post this.
Post it.
And then give
How
me
long
2 weeks.
Give you 2 weeks?
For you.
For you.
Thank
you know I love you. You know I love you.
I had to get the handshake before you said
no.
no.
So I'm gonna see if I can use the same screen name. Ooh, that's AOL language, but screen name for IG. Message. Man, I have this thing I've always written down, 633K. I'm gonna give it away right here. I'm gonna give it away. I like to keep it secret sometimes. I'm gonna give it away. So if you watch this, you know what it is. But 633K comes out of my favorite scripture. I've always called myself a seeker. Everywhere I've ever been, I'm just a lifelong learner. My favorite scripture is Matthew 6:33, which is seek ye first the kingdom of righteousness, the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. That's my message. It's my life mission. Is to just continue to seek God, to seek righteousness, and quite literally every time I've done that, and I believe every time you would choose to do that, all the things, peace, joy, love, will come to you, as well as material stuff too. But all of these things will be added unto you. You won't have to chase after them anymore. They'll be added unto you, be given unto you without any work or any burden. So that is the work. Continue to seek. Matthew 6:33. 633K is the message.
Man, appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Definitely a dope show.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
That's it, y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Ciao.